for us it was considered like, this is the next level. You've got to be, you know, someone that's decent and good to go. If you went up into someone's yard or something, right, and you'd done a shit panel, they'd probably belch you. So it was easy just to bomb trains non-stop and get your name out, get a learning of how it should be, and then go and do panels, or for us, go do panels later. So yeah, as I said, we spend all our time just bombing trains. I mean, all honesty, like all those kids that had pulled the lights out and, you know, kick windows out, throw seats out, all that type of stuff, that was, you know, probably what people absolutely hated, and then write all over everything. But that was what our fun was. If you've never painted trains in your own city, well, you've missed something, if you ask me. You've got to, if you want to do everything properly in its own sense, you at least got to paint a train in your own city to say that you've done the right thing. Like I know of, you know, I'm not trying to knock anyone, but I know of different people that have been overseas, painted shitloads amounts of trains overseas, and well done to them. It's awesome, but still haven't painted a train in your own city. By year 5, year 6, you know, people are naming football teams and going, you know, like I always followed Parramatta, going Peter Sterling, you know, Brett Kenny, whatever. You know, we were sitting there going, you know, oh, TDF, CIS, EVP, you know what I mean, PE or
that's your sport.
Yeah, NSC or something, all the crews that were running up and down out west. So it was sort of forced on, you know, not forced, but it was very prevalent, so that, you know, people were very, you know, aware, and then that's what you started to learn. Only thing which I ever hope for people, you know, probably a little bit older now, is people can get away from jail and stay out of jail, stay away from that spot, and actually get out and enjoy a bit of their life, you know what I mean, and do stuff, not be hounded and hammered and, you know, tracked down all the time because it's something you done 20 years ago and they're still trying to make you pay for it.
There he is.
Go from there. That'll do.
Yeah, sick.
That's fine. I snapped them today, so anyway, that's mud.
That's all right, man. That's all right. How's your Sunday anyway?
It's good. Can't complain. We had cyclone, rain and storm last night, so.
Oh, really?
At least we're not blown away, so it's good.
Fuck yeah. How's the weather over there anyway? Like, it's fucking pretty warm over there, eh? Usually.
It normally is. Most days are, you know, mid to high 30s.
Fuck.
Getting to the 40s, so yeah, it's rare to get anything that's not. So yeah, no, cooler today is nicer.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a jumper on. You must be, the aircon must be fucking cranked.
The aircon's right next to me. It's freezing. So.
On a nice Sydney degrees.
Yeah, well, put it this way: every time I come back to Sydney, I run around with a jumper and a jacket on. Everyone laughs at the moment. So
full climatised.
Yeah, just get acclimatised the wrong way.
All right, man. Well, I might
go for it.
I might just start off with a bit of a crack of the 10. I forgot to do in my last one. It's like become a ritual, man. So I just
the ritual.
Yep. Here we go. Oh, I don't know if you're gonna hear it, but there we go. She's cracked. Cheers, mate.
Cheers. Yeah. So, enjoy.
Yep. Beautiful. Might just start off with a bit of a rattle off of a sponsor and a couple of things. Thanks to MTN Colours Australia there for helping me with the show. You'll be getting a 6-pack of paint thanks to them. So every guest gets a 6-pack of paint. So it's pretty cool. And then, yeah, just shout outs to Toy Division. He's a podcast. He's doing good things at the moment, doing videos now. So go check him out. And also BYP Stickers and BSP for starting me off with this podcast thing. So thank you to them. And today we have SKORE, RBS, KO. Yeah. Yep. Any others that you're in, or that's
the
main ones?
That's the main ones that I stick with now. Yeah, I'll talk about some others before. So
yeah, sweet. We'll get into the graph a bit later anyway. But
sorry.
We'll get into the graph a bit later,
yep.
But we'll just start off with, man, where did little SKORE grow up?
So, Parramatta or Westline, Wentworthville was the main spot where I grew up, and that was like school, everything out there. But also that's where I got into everything else. So that was pretty much it. Out Wentworthville when we moved to Sydney. So we're at Burwood first, out to Wentworthville, and then
Oh, okay. When was so
right.
Build was on your like early
Uh,
stages?
but no, when I say Burwood, it was like 4 years old or so, 5 years old when we first come to Sydney. So and then we were out at Wentworthville, and that was from about 5 years on, 5 years old on. So
Right.
yeah,
So where were you for? Where were you born? Were you born in?
down Griffith, south of or Southern Highlands, New South Wales.
Oh, right. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. Your parents were probably, I don't know, are they like a hard working kind of thing in Griffith?
Yeah, they just moved around with their work throughout New South Wales, and that's where I ended, or where I was born, and then we ended up back in Sydney. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice. Nice.
so been
How
around a
was
fair few spots.
yeah. How was out like Wentworthville was out west for people that don't know.
Yeah, correct.
How was it? How was it back in the early days there?
It was fun. It was like anywhere else out west at that, growing up, literally a train line right next to where we lived, a canal down the back. So it was plenty of spots to, ride your bike, skateboards, all that sort of thing. And, get around. There's all units and stuff all through the place. So it was always something to go do. So yeah.
Yeah. Was it kind of like normal housing or was it like you in the commission or no?
No, I was in, well, we were normal housing, but there was
Yeah.
all like those houses and that, around the whole area. So
Yeah, it was a bit of a
there's all
mix.
there's all kids hang out. You soon find the better spots to go hang out, and where you can, as I said, ride bikes and do all your mad jumps and tricks and shit. And
Yeah.
that normally was in all the spots where, down probably where you shouldn't have been at the time. So it was all a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what year are we talking here? Like how old are you? You
So that would have been around about 1980, 81.
wow, okay, yeah.
So when we first moved there, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was around that time, yeah.
The good old days, mate. The good old days.
Yeah, well, what I can remember of them, they were so good. So it was all fun.
Yeah, nice. Nice, man. So what, getting into skateboard? Did you get into skateboarding much or were you more of a BMX dude or what?
More than bikes because we could get around more, and you could get up and around different spots. As I said, like we're the canal, which was not far from us, so all the kids and in the area and whatnot, they'd jump around and we'd all end up. You follow the canal systems through, and you end up all different areas throughout. Get up Pendle Hill, Greystanes, different up areas, South Wentworthville and that. So yeah, you just follow them all around to everywhere you went.
Nice, nice. Well, I suppose there wasn't many skate parks and shit back then. It was all just in the street, right?
Yeah, everything was in the street. There was no skate parks, nothing like that then. Bike was easier to ride than carrying a skateboard around the place. So
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, nice, man. So what'd you get into with your school, like school stuff? Did you go to like a public school, Catholic school? What type of, what were you running?
it's a normal school. Westmead was the school I went to, so it was just a normal public school with all the kids from the area. So
Yeah.
everyone would rock up to school together and go home together and that. So there was nothing different or unusual or anything in that way. So
Yeah.
and same as the high school later on ended up the same type of thing, just a local high school. So
Yeah. Yeah, nice. What are you a bit of a like a rebellious kid or are you a bit of a quiet kid? What do you reckon? What did your parents say anyway?
Probably the way that I ended up probably was the way that I started. So, I found more things interesting than listening to teacher talk, which is probably, the kids I hung around with at the time were all pretty much the same. So we weren't bad, but we were just like those kids that you'd be liked for sport, but that was about it. Everything else you'd just be told to be quiet, sit at the back of the room.
Yeah.
So as long as sport was there, they liked you, and after that it was like,
Yeah, that's it. I guess sport's a bit of an outlet for young kids instead of getting out in the streets and stuff. But what type of sports were you into when you were younger?
Football. Played league and union, so
Oh, both? Okay.
yeah. So Yeah, that was the main thing. Like cricket, like all other kids, I suppose. Say football in summer, and I mean winter, and cricket in summer. So
Fuck,
you
that would
go
have been
from there.
tough.
Yeah,
Was your dad was around back then? Yeah, like he's
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no.
Tight family unit.
Yeah, my mum and dad always been together, so
Oh,
that
beautiful.
part there's pretty cool, which is a difference for probably the majority of people I know. So
It's a rarity,
um,
man.
yeah, big time,
Yeah.
massively, and it is a hard thing, and like like anyone else went through their hard times to get everything to where they got to, but yeah, credit for them for staying with each other, so they've done well.
Yeah, that's nice, man. It's
Mm.
yeah, with the cricket thing, it's a fucking tough ask to get your dad to come there and watch you for fucking all day.
Uh, drop you off, take off, come back. But no, it was good. Just it was more to try and keep me out of trouble, I think, at the time. So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, it
yeah.
was like at least I was occupied for a few hours to make sure I wasn't off somewhere else. So
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
mm.
How'd you go at footy, man? Did you make it into any rep sides or anything like that, or are you just playing it to play it?
Like anyone else, like your local rep team, that was about it, and
Yeah.
everything else other than that was just I was not that person that was good enough to be in, to go further. There's a couple of guys that without name dropping or anything, but there's a few guys that played with us that made it to, like, in the union, made it into Australia, made it into to higher levels, but they were a lot more dedicated than the rest of us were. They trained, they done everything properly, so they turned up the training, so it's probably why they made it. So
Yeah.
so well done to them. So yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. What
Mm.
So I mean, most kids, it's like a thing where it's like you play your footy, you're either fully serious into it, or you're in and out. You're fucking. I mean, teenage years, 16, kind of 17, you're getting into like your kind of party years. Alcohol starts getting involved and stuff, and then I mean, sometimes drugs get involved. I don't know. That's what
That's
happened to me,
it. Well,
but
there's a lot more happens in the different grades of football compared to like your higher grade to your bottom grades. But
Mm,
but that's it. It's dedication. It's like anything else. If you dedicate yourself to it, well done.
yeah,
You'll get there. But that wasn't my dedication whatsoever. So it was
yeah,
more just there until it become too much.
yeah, yeah. So
So
do you guys go to much like house parties and stuff? Because my era was like all house parties, like when you were 16. Was that kind of a thing with you guys too, or just
yeah, we probably more drunk in parks and stuff.
yeah, okay.
Like where we were, and then we'd, like, in, say Parramatta, for example, or even like, Blacktown, hanging around Blacktown. That when I hung around there was probably more hanging around or drinking in parks. Go back to someone's house, or in Parramatta, we'd just go up to the local pub, which they'd let us in. So
Oh, true.
um, we'd just do that there. But it
Yeah.
was always started in a park 9 out of 10 times. So,
If someone's parents aren't home, just fucking go over there,
yeah,
you know?
that's it. Or if that was, if it was like that, that was super cool in the sense. But yeah, it was always a park,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Botley Park, and everyone would meet up, and that's where everyone was.
Any any shenanigans going on at those parks and stuff? Was it all pretty friendly, or did you have a couple, after a couple of people have a couple of drinks, it gets.
Get one or two guys that might
Anything
yeah.
from memory, like stories or anything?
Oh, put it this way, there was never anything great in that sense. One or two guys, like, different people might end up in a settle their disagreement, if you want to put it in one way, but it was more just police coming down, really. Like, it'd just be, you'd get drink, wait, police would turn up, tell you that you're not to drink here anymore. You'd be like, yeah, no dramas. So as they go, you go back to drinking, and then whatever happened to the rest of the night happened to the rest of the night. That's probably where more, as you said, shenanigans or something turned up would be more, how excited people would get later on if you didn't end up at the pub and you just run there in the street. Well, anything could kind of happen at that time. So, there's probably probably a lot of different fun. I'll think of a few more things as we're going along with
Yeah,
that.
that's all right.
Yeah.
That's all right. So it was a bit more of like a move on thing from the cops.
Yeah, that was the biggest parts. Like I said, like, well, everyone was or as good as can be. Like, don't get me wrong, like, people that go off and do things, there was always paint, there was always stuff like that. There was always, different ideas on how to go acquire something. Someone might have a great idea on how to go make money for the night or something, and people that go along with it. But or you just, as I said, be a normal night. You just start off down the park, end up at the local pub, play pool for the night till we got kicked out, or kicked out when I say pub finished, and then you just go from there to the next place and or someone's house back afterwards, and basically party to the morning pretty much. So
yeah. Pool tables were a fucking big thing back then, man. Or even my generation, they started to get rid of them. Like, I guess they started putting in pokies and shit and just got rid of them. But it was fucking mad just having a couple of beers with the boys, just shooting.
The pool table is always good.
Yeah,
You've got
man.
to be at that perfect level to be able to play. Once you get past that level, that's it. The game's over. But if you sit at that level, you can play all night like you're some champion. So
I reckon the more beers I had, the better I got.
That's basically everything. Get that eye in perfectly.
Yeah. Start taking some risky shots. Yeah, nice, man. Were you well, how'd you get into like the art side? Were you like an arty kid, or did you just meet people out in like parks and like out bike riding? Who'd you meet that was into graffiti?
So when at my school, so it was basically right in front of me. So when I was going through primary school, I used to draw cars and stuff like that and whatnot, race cars, etc. And but because we weren't far from train lines, our school used to get bombed all the time. And there used to be a crew that was very just around the area DTL, which was defying the law. And they used to smash our school continuously, Pilot, Jostle, Rock 87, and they just smash it. And that like all the way from where I lived to my school, like you'd literally follow their trail every day of the week, I suppose you could call it. And it was just constantly there. So because you'd see it and it was always there, and the school had buffered all the time, they'd come back, do pieces, whatnot, etc. It was, and because at that time with breakdancing, graffiti was, obviously graffiti was already here, but it was starting to become, a little bit more popular. People had seen it. So, basically just more or less started just copying it. And we started doing, our own ideas of what it was. And the other part at that time was those graffiti stickers. They come out. So where people had trade, football cards and stuff like that, they had all the graffiti stickers. So
what?
They all come out. Yeah, they all come out, and everyone had the stickers. So you copy the pieces. Like, for us, we were only, year 4 or year 5 or something. So whatever that age is. So you're copying it, you're looking at it, and that's sort of where all that part started. And there was different people at the school that started, that were painting. One of the guys that went to school with myself, like people, older people that know who this is, he wrote Boste, Boste. So he was, he ended up with RBS, PIC and all that, etc. But he started doing pieces, and everyone was like, oh, wow, look at this. This is cool as, you know what I mean? So everyone would be like trying to, then start to try and do bubble letters, etc., and all that stuff to try and learn how to do pieces. So, there was a fair bit of graffiti just within my school that, people started to learn from and start doing and, end up in different areas within their life. So, that's
okay.
sort of how it sort of comes and said. It was right, friends. We could see the trains from our school. You know what I mean? Like, so you'd see tags on trains, etc., and be like, "Oh, look at that!" Instead of sitting there at lunch doing something else, you'd be trying to watch the trains. Like, you could just see, they weren't perfect in front of us, but you'd have to sort of stand up and see them. So we'd look around or run off out the school and go down the side of the train line part and just watch the trains and go back. So
that's a mad lunch. Just sitting there watching
trains.
That's
sort of how it become. Like, whether I was probably the only one that really kept going with it out of all the guys that looked at it or were looking at it. But that was our little thing that we used to do. So
just going back to those sticker things, I didn't know stickers were a big thing back then. Where did people get stickers printed off from, like sign writing places or what?
I believe they come from Denmark or somewhere there, Germany or someplace like that. If I'm wrong on that, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's where they come from. But they were just like a dandy, I think it was, or dandy, and you get 2 stickers and a bit of bubble gum in it, or a couple of stickers and a bit of bubble gum in the pack. So it was the same as football cards and that, and you get it from the local shops. So, you know, like you had football cards, you know, I think you had race cars or something else, and then they had the graffiti stickers. So you get the stickers and this, but the football cards, you couldn't do anything with stickers. Obviously, you'd stick them on your books or, you know, lunchbox bag or some shit, wherever you stuck it. But yeah, but that's what they were. There's you see them every now and then on people that put them up on, you know, on their Instagrams and stuff like that when they've got them. But
is it actual like writers pieces on them in the bubble gum, or is it like just a sticker and then you do your own on it and put it up?
No. There was pieces on them.
Oh, what?
So there was pieces on them.
International writers or something, or?
Yeah, I'm going to sort of go a little bit off from exactly what I know, but I think they were done by, as I said, I think they were done by people over there in Germany or something rather.
Yeah, right.
The ones which mainly I remember were like, there was one that said Pinky, there was another one that was Crow, there was another one with this character that had What Gang written on it.
Oh, true.
Break. I can't think of a few of the others, think of them all later, but
yeah,
that was just the way it was. And you could just basically copy them. Like we didn't have anything else to look at in the sense other than the train. So you could sit there, copy them in your books, and then you'd start to, you know, make your piece, argument's sake. So, but yeah, that was one of the lucky parts there, was sort of something that was there and, you know, jumped onto everyone. So,
okay. And then how do you actually get into like graph? Like what was your first memory of like doing like a maybe a tag first or something, or did you get some cans from your parents' fucking garage or some shit? Or
no, the first can of paint I got, I racked it from a hardware shop down in
of course
in Wentworthville, but before that there was, you know, you got Poscas and stuff like that, and but as I said, because I had the canal literally behind where I live. So where I lived, at a train line on one side of the canal, like 2 minutes down the road.
Perfect.
There was a stack of pieces in there. So it was all guys like Severe from TDF. No, I try to remember everyone else. That's where the big Geno was. That was a little bit later in time. What was the other ones? I'm thinking the other ones. I can't think of it. Anyway, there's the old show. He had like the old show that he had a piece down there. I can't think what his piece was, but there was just like a lot of old pieces down there. So you had all these guys from out west that were doing pieces there. So when you'd ride your bike along, you know, oh yeah, that's mad. Like we didn't have cameras or anything like that. So you'd remember it, you'd see it, and that was where you sort of started getting everything from. And then you'd start, well, for myself, you'd start reading it. That was sort of the first part of where graffiti come. Like I got into graffiti, and then I sort of looked at it for a while. You know, try and write something, try and do something, etc. And in the canals, trying to work out how to, you know, hold a can of paint, how to do a tag, how to do all that stuff, etc. With all the different other pieces there. And then around Wentworthville, a little bit later, not at this time, but there was a lot of riders around there. So you had Seven from RCF lived out there. This other guy that did write show, with not the show I was talking about, but write show, which is where I actually got my tag from, him. There was another guy who used to write, like I didn't know this guy, but he used to write Junkie almost. And he was from out that direction and hammered all the canals and that as well. So, you know, then like different other people, Nova, you know what I mean? Like I keep going with different tags. I said Severe, TDF, had Bondi, all that sort of stuff down there. JC done a lot around that area. He lived in that area, so he was there. He done a lot of graph with his MTV and then he started doing all these fruit shops and stuff. But he was there, so yeah, there was a lot of different riders around that area. So you got to sort of see different people for what they were, and then, you know, that was your exposure. Then you started to learn crews, and that is, and I've said this once before in another thing, like by year 5, year 6, people are naming football teams and going, like I always followed Parramatta to go, Peter Sterling, Brett Kenny, whatever. We were sitting there going, TDF, CIS, PV, you know what I mean? PE or
that's your sport.
Yeah, NSC or something, all the crews that were running up and down out west. So it was sort of forced on, not forced, but it was very prevalent so that, people were very, aware. And then that's what you started to learn. Like it said, like we even had teachers at our school that were like, oh, it's a new piece down here. And they told us,
really? Fuck.
We'd go down and have a look. So yeah, it was quite funny.
Yeah. Well, how'd you actually do your first tag, or what? Did some of those boys help you out, or did you just go by yourself and do it like one day?
Just with the guys. Yeah, it was
tagging first.
Yeah, tagging first. We'd never done pieces first, but like if you just down it like with everyone. Oh, here you go. You have a go. So you'd have a go. You'd have a go, and and off you do. Like breakdancing was another thing that was pretty big at the time, which a lot of people were into too. But that to me that was just too hard. It was too much effort. Breakdancing. It was easy to ride on something. Those guys had some pretty cool skills, breakdancing and that. So, but that's the same thing. They had the cardboard. They'd have all the brake and different things, thunderbolts and all different stuff on it. So it was always that part was there. Like I remember after the football, there'd be guys breakdancing after football. So
true. They'd
have the cardboard down. They'd be doing windmills and all this other stuff. And it was like cool. So, but that was that sort of spot with the time and the area. So
yeah. All right. Well, take me through your first piece experience, because you must have been tagging for a little bit and then thought, I'm going to get into piecing, or how'd that come about?
Yeah, so like everyone, you come up with these great ideas, and you think you're going to do something spectacular that everyone else is doing, and then when you do it, you sort of look at it and you think, God, that's terrible. And and as I said, like, so me and two other guys that lived around the area, we painted everything we could paint, and literally all the time it'd get painted over. Like I remember one time we done a painting at Westmead, and we thought it was pretty cool and whatnot. And I can't remember which one it was, whether it was a dog possess or whether it was the code piece or something, but our painting stayed there, I think, for maybe about 14 hours or something. And the next day it was gone. They'd gone over the top of it. Like obviously they were doing stuff that was a lot better than us, and it burned what we'd done. But again, it was still that part of like, oh, well, keep trying. And until we eventually got a piece to stay, but no one wanted, or no one painted over. So then you were sort of like, oh, cool. Now I'm sort of starting to get an idea. So I said, like, I was sort of lucky in the sense that there was a few different guys around there, as I said, which I used to talk to. So they sort of give me a bit of an idea on how to, get your pieces into proportion and, paint it at anything. But at the same time, there was no direct help in the sense of them doing the outline or anything. They were like, oh, it's your paint, you do it. It looks like shit. We'll paint over it tomorrow. So, work it out. So you sort of had to, or the way that you learned was to finally get it right. But as I said, the canals were probably the best part to try, because if it was rubbish, well, not the whole world saw it anyway. Yeah. And then, using chrome, Solistream chromes, and Franklin's black, red, etc. So, or fan jets and that. Eventually, one day it just finally clicks. For some, it clicks a bit earlier than others. I probably a little bit later than some, and to finally get something that looked relatively half decent, that wasn't, as I said, painted over the next day, and then off you go. You all of a sudden you think you're good, and you start trying to paint more. So
how did you feel when someone went over? Did you understand the whole thing now, or did people tell you like these guys are better than you, or did you get cut or what?
I probably did get cut, I suppose, to be honest. But probably when you go back and you want to go look at it in the daylights, and you're like, oh, I want to see this. In my head, this is cool. And you get there and you're like, fuck, it's already gone. Like, it didn't even last. Like, but then the guys that were painting out, like, they painted over, as I said, like, they wouldn't have known, and that's the way that it goes. They weren't great pieces, so the spot was there. It's in a good spot. You know what I mean, and it'd get done over like on the side of the lines or something. But at the same time, then you'd look at those pieces, you'd be like, oh, that's what I need to try and get to. I've got to try and get up to this. So, in a way, which probably something that I used to always try and aim at, but as time goes by, you start to learn a few things, and it's like, well, each time and everything has its time. So you're never going to do a piece that's better than something 5 years before or 10 years before.
Oh, of course,
because the way it worked. But there was always a piece at it used to be a piece at Auburn. It was a JC MTV piece. It was done in green. It was the second one he'd done there. They'd gone over their one before, but it was like, fuck, that's that's the level you got to try and get to.
He was good, man. Fuck. Yeah.
The piece was awesome. Like it's on different things. I've seen it in that.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Like places, but you look at it, it's like, if I can just get my piece to half look like that, I'll be happy. And then that was like you started to work on it. I said, doesn't matter what someone does now. I don't think they'll ever be as beat, say, that piece because of the time difference. But
yeah, they've got 5 years on you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well. And more, and probably a lot more skill and and style, like at the end part of the day. But it's just that got to have something to strive for, to look for, and eventually you work out where you are. Your pieces start not getting done over, and you're sort of like, okay, well now I've got half a chance, and that's where you start to meet more people then too. You know what I mean? But
how did you Did you come up with SKORE? I think you mentioned this before, that someone gave you that tag. How did that come about?
No, a guy asked me if I wanted to score. I had no idea what he was talking about. I was only fucking 7, I think I was.
I didn't even think about that, bro.
Yeah, and I didn't know what it was. So I was because I used to write Relic before, and like everyone has a tag. You fuck around with this tag forever. It shit as all hell, and then finally you think you're starting to get something decent. So you're like, oh, I want to, try and, start with saying half better and keep going. So that's where SKORE come. But he's passed away now too. So rest in peace to him.
R.I.P.
He taught me a fair few different things, as you might work it out. And it said the one part there, he asked me if I wanted to score, and I said I had no idea what he was on about. He's like, well, come with me, I'll show you, and that's where I got the tag from. So
true. So how come you change the C to a K?
Just look better, and it balanced better with the R.
True.
Yes. The C doesn't like to me. The C doesn't balance where the K and the R balance, the S and the E balance, and the O's in the center. So
in betweener. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's why. Yeah. And because at the time, graffiti at the time, you had to spell it incorrectly. So it was, like,
it was cool.
The rebellious side of it. Spell it differently, spell it wrong. So, you can have this name that's not spelled correctly. So that's part of what it was.
And did you ever do a couple? I'm not sure if I might have seen it, but did you ever do a C in your SKORE piece?
What, sorry?
Did you ever do like a C instead of the K?
No, never. There was one which I never knew about this, and I ever found this out years and years later. It was actually Demote that told me this. I never knew it beforehand. I think it may have been his. He'd done something down in the canals just near Strathfield, probably about 87, 86, 87. I was like, maybe 88.
Shit, when I was born.
So don't anyone argue with me on the time. I'm not 100% sure at the time.
That's all right, man.
It's basically a blockbuster, but I'm sure it was his. It may or may not be. I think he said it was, but it was just a conversation with him years and years later. And he said, oh, I actually used to write that for a little bit of time. And I was like, fuck, I never knew anyone ever wrote it. But, I didn't know that. Someone did have it first, but I never knew that at the time.
Yeah, well, you can't know everything, right? So
that was my defense. By this time, it was too late now anyway.
Exactly, man.
Anyway,
exactly.
So,
yeah, nice. I mean, who were your like kind of mentors, or not mentors, but people that you kind of looked up to? But I mean, besides that JC guy,
for myself, it was everything I saw on the trains at the time. So I keep saying TDF, and that was like
They were a
Severe.
big
You'd
crew
see,
back then, yeah?
yeah, they were awesome. Like you'd see Severe and that. Bandit used to do these awesome BA
Oh,
throw ups that
yeah.
you used to see. He used to do top to bottom ones on the Rattlers. You know, Jeno used to do, and still can do, some awesome throw ups that were around the area that you'd see and copy. So like there was all those guys around. You know, Poser was another one that was
Mm,
had some awesome pieces way back then. Him and JC, the MTV and that.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was everything like that I'd basically see out west. Jerk was another one at the time that always had heaps cool pieces around. Him and Kidham, actually, both of them used to have some really nice pieces around.
Yeah.
You know, Code obviously has a lot of nice pieces, obviously,
Mm.
with his brother and that. Like you'd see his stuff. Kidnap was another one at the time.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
all those guys that at that time, you know, that were doing all the different things, and you know, like later on, like the Big Code Roski and all that
Yeah.
at Blacktown, that was another one, you know. But even at Blacktown before that, you had all like New Two, Tame, Truce, I think about the rest of them as we go on. But yeah, Fanta, you had all those guys out there, which were, you know, doing a lot of nice pieces at the time, which you just see. So yeah, that was like that TDF sort of,
Mm.
you know, PIC touch, said Seven was out there, RCF, MTV, etc.
Yeah.
Different other bits and pieces you'd see out those areas. So it was yeah, pretty lucky in its own way to see all that. So
Oh, yeah, definitely.
they give you a lot to look at, put it that way, a lot to be inspired by, to try and you know, do it yourself.
Yeah. What type of paint and stuff were you using back then? Like what textures and that?
Anything that you could get your hands on, but most of the
Franklin's
paint we used,
Franklin's is a big one that, like I've heard.
Franklin's was all, well, their chrome was awesome, actually, in all honesty. Like their chrome was good.
Yeah.
But even their black was, you know, parts of it were a bit watery. It was good. You'd be able to get like a paint, which I liked at that time. You could get from the hardware stores was Pascal. So which was a thicker, but it wasn't enamel, but it was just a thicker paint, and you get a really nice black. The yellow was terrible, but the blue, the pink, the grey, the white was all good.
Standard colours, yeah.
Yeah, standard colours. VHT was another really good paint from the car shop. So Duplicolor before you had the touch-ups.
Touch-ups, yeah.
Yeah, so Duplicolor were ones that were probably before it. I'm pretty sure it's the same little brand. It was only the small cans.
Yeah.
Or Holtz, they used to be called as a white and blue can. But VHT have, you know, greens and purples and whatnot. So anything from a
mix
car
and match,
shop,
eh?
yeah, you just, which was part of your day. Like when you sort of got into a bit more, you'd spend a day rolling around to different areas and different shops, etc. And then obviously then you go paint at night, or paint during the day and paint at night. So that was the thing. So like it was I listened to a couple of the guys that you had on here before, and I was sort of saying the same sorts of things. There was no actual shop at that time that, you know, was, this is a shop, come here,
get everything.
Get your 10 cans, here's your 30 different brands of paint, pick a brand, pick a nozzle, pick this, pick that, go home. You had to go somewhere, and if it didn't work, you might not get paid. You know what I mean? Like you get chased down the street or something, rather, and, you know, have to go somewhere else, and shops might close if you're not on time or something. So everything was very, you know, it was like a mission each day to make sure that you got around to get what you needed. So
five different shops to get one piece out of it.
That's it. Well, you could be in 5 different areas to get to those shops to make sure that you could get your piece. So, you know, but that's what it was. But then obviously when you're younger, you know, you would have done it, everyone else has done it. You throw your paint in with each other when needed. It's like, oh, I've got this, I've got that. All right, put this together, and I need a bit of yours. You use a bit of mine. So everyone could do a piece, and yeah, that's the way it worked. So, yeah, not bring up a bag with 100 cans in it and be like, right, this is my paint. I'm going to now paint this big, beautiful picture and whatnot. But yeah, it was slightly different, but that was the fun.
You got any cheeky racking stories that you can
uh,
let listeners know of if you want?
put it this way, we used to have a couple of really good shops where you could go to and literally just fill bags up and go. And I like put it this way, I do remember one time, and without going into names, the person that was with me, he'd know all about it at the time. We, for whatever reason, we decided to buy a can of paint or 2 cans of paint or something this day for some reason. Like we had a whole bag full, and this was the nerve of people at this, or of us at the time. We actually asked a guy for a discount. You know, I mean, it was probably $4 a can of paint. So we actually asked him for a discount, and he turned around and he's like, "Mate," he goes, "I think you guys get more than enough discounts." We're like, "Okay, no worries."
5 fingers, mate.
Yeah, and then anyway, we'd still go back there, and I don't know, he must have wrote it all off on something else because he never seemed to stop anyone. But yeah, but put it this way, on another part too, like you could go to different shops and you get to a back end of a shop and there'd be, you know, transits and, you know, GTF and everything standing in a shop. You'd be like, "Oh, quick, turn around, time to go." And like they just be
like undercover.
Yeah, they'd be there hanging around the shops to, you know, catch people and find people which were going through to be able to, you know, grab them basically. So
how'd you tell it was them, like cargo shorts and fucking
no,
standard?
everyone kind of knew who everyone was in that sense.
Okay.
Like people would point people out. You'd be seeing there like, "Oh, that's so and so and that's so and so. Watch out for them." So you'd remember who they were. So
right.
It was yeah, it was just like that. You pretty much knew running up and down the train lines all the time. You'd get to know who they were and who they weren't, and obviously if they'd speak to you, a different story as well. But then obviously you'd remember them. But yeah, that's
okay.
pretty much people just knew who they were.
Yeah, nice. I might
Well, you got actually. I was just thinking about saying one funny chase that we did get with paint. We're at a Kmart in Marylands, so people know the distance. I know the distances, and we actually got chased on foot all the way to Westmead before the bloke finally gave up. It was just incredible. Like there's 2 of them going. There was only 2 of us, and they were bigger than us, so it wasn't like we could probably turn around and do anything about it. Because it was like, you know, if we get grabbed, these guys will, you know, they'll get it over us because we're a lot smaller at the time. And yeah, they chased us all the way to Westmead. Funny, as it finally got up on the station where they give up chasing us, and you know, as kids do, give them the finger, and then we kept running. But yeah, it was quite funny. But that's probably the longest chase I ever had to do. It was near killed us to try and get away from them. So
right. I mean, so every piece was pretty much racked back then, right? I mean, did you have any places you bought? Like, was there nothing? It's all racked, eh?
No, we never brought paint, period.
Yeah, because it's like how much was a can back then, man? It would have been like fucking $13 or something, and back then with the economy these days, that's probably equals to $30
with
a can.
The economy these days, probably $25 no, they're probably only off memory. And in all honesty, said we never brought paint, so maybe $6-7. But
that's a lot back then.
That's still it's still a shitload of money at the time. Like for you know, you need 10 cans of paint or something for a painting or for a piece. So, but yeah, no, only time I ever started really buying paint, in all honesty, was probably not until, you know, give or take on 18, 19 years old or something, we finally brought paint.
Yeah.
But before that, no, everything was racked. We never brought paint, period. Textures, nothing.
Yeah.
Never brought anything.
Yeah. What was so getting into your piecing, I mean, you're doing pieces in the canals first, and then did you end up you start getting into panels? Ended
up on the lines. I didn't do panels until I think the first panel I done I was 16, I think I was. But no, we're probably more just the vandals in the sense, like we'd paint the lines, but we just bomb trains all the time. So bombing trains was the panels were considered, well, maybe for us it was considered like, this is the next level. You've got to be, you know, someone that's decent and good to go here. And the other time too, like if you went up into someone's yard or something, Robbie, and you done a shit panel, they'd probably belch you. So it was easy just to bomb trains non-stop, and get your get your name out, get a learning of how it should be, and then go and do panels, or for us, go do panels later. So yeah, as I said, we spent all our time just bombing trains. I mean, not obviously like, well, those kids that would pull the lights out and, you know, kick windows out, throw seats out, all that type of stuff that was, you know, probably what people absolutely hated, and then write all over everything. But that was what our fun was.
Yeah, I was going to say good fun.
Oh, it was awesome fun. And when you got a bunch of kids that are, you know, 5, 10, you know, sometimes 15 people on a train, like it just, you know, it was just mayhem. But that's what it was. The other part was getting up. The idea was to get up. So it was always to see who was the most up. And in, you know, some people might disagree with me on this, some mightn't. But in all honesty, it was looked upon as more of an achievement to be up on the trains, more so than up on the walls. It was like, yeah, cool, you can go bomb the train line, you know, walk between Strathfield to the city like some people have, and you get up heaps, and it was like, far out, that's incredible. But everyone would remember who was up on the trains most of the time, and that's kind of what it was, always was, to see who was the most up, who was up on the back car, who had the front runner, hangouts, you know, guards, compartments, you know, the floors, door, you know, etc. At the back. And that's where everything was. And because there was no, you know, you didn't have security like that you have these days or anything, so it was just literally just like I said a few times, it's a bunch of kids running amok, just doing whatever they wanted to do. And that's what the back car was. And that's where you always wanted to be up on, because that's where everyone was. And when you run into people like, oh, I've seen you up on the back car, this and that, like, you know, or a hangout, there was never like so much, oh, I've seen a really cool piece you've done on the lines. It was more about the trains, like, in the sense. But that's not saying, you know, because at the time there's still a lot of very good people doing pieces, you know, on the lines at that time. So it's not like they were missed, but the trains just were a lot more, you know, heavily involved in what the culture was at the time. Then once you were sort of half decent enough, then you try and do a panel. But, you know, you first, you know, sometimes different people, like the first time we went to the yards, we went on our own and sort of just guessed at where, you know, we went to Waverton, and we just sort of guessed where or how to do it. We'd sort of been shown before by a couple of guys from BRP that showed us where it was, and then we ended up there on our own. And the first time we'd done it was sort of, you know, the first time we rushed it, and it was done in 10 seconds. And you're sort of like, fuck, this is shit. There's no one around here. Quick, let's go do another one. And then it would start to learn to then become a bit more relaxed in the yards at the time, and, you know, start learning the yards, pay attention to the yards. You know, there was next to no security, but you'd always have that odd, you know, person come through, or, you know, as I said, the GTF or something, or, you know, Granville Transits or someone turn up, and you know, just to muck up your day. But it's more the GTF in their own sense. But then you just, yeah, once you sort of learned, then you just started learning to go around the yard. You do your panels, but everything was more about bombing at the time. So just, you know, getting up on the trains.
What was your favorite type of bombing, mate? Was it like, I don't know, insides, fucking front runners, run ups? What was your thing?
Doing hangouts.
Oh, above the doors, or
yeah, well, just anywhere, just hangouts on the side of the train. Like, it was probably easier. Doing front runners was, you know, a little bit more effort. You had to climb up on the back, and you know, sometimes you'd have to lean over the top of different aspects of the train to be able to you know, get your tag up. But whereas doing a hangout was easy, because you could watch what was happening. You could look down the side of the train. You know, you could see everything.
Pole coming.
Yeah, poles. Poles are pretty bad. You know, like guards, trains coming the other way, anything like that. So you could look around and actually see what there was. But yeah, and it was just easy. It wasn't a very hard way to do it, and it was just a very effective way to get your tag up. Just, doing a hangout. Like insides were fun, but you know, said like, you know, when you could just open all the doors, or the doors weren't even open, and you'd, you know, jump downs at stations, and that was always fun because you'd be looking out, you know, just that different part of adrenaline. But yeah, doing hangouts was what I preferred. But yeah, it's probably not the safest thing to do in the world, but
fuck no.
Was,
You're not really thinking at that stage, are you? You're just opening the door and hanging out.
No, in fact, it was the last thought on your mind.
Yeah, because I mean, there's not much room between the next train. I mean, if you stuck your head out further enough, I mean, another train could come past and clean you. I mean, it's happened to a couple of riders, right?
Trains, even just trees, poles. You know what I mean? You'd be surprised how close the poles are to you. When a tree whips the side of your arm or something, it, you know, it's you feel it. But yeah, as you said, like the different people have passed away, and rest in peace to the guys that have passed away from doing hangouts, especially throughout Sydney and Melbourne, etc., Brisbane, all throughout Australia at no part. But I think that was the adrenaline rush, though.
Oh yeah,
out of it. Like, in all honesty, it was like to, you know, leaning out windows, doors, you know, climbing up over or as far up on the back of them as you can. That while the train was going, that was the adrenaline. That was the fun. And probably, in all honesty, writing your name was only a second part to it. It was more of the adrenaline and the excitement you got from doing something that, you know, was pretty dangerous, but you never thought twice about.
Yeah. I mean, going from that and then going into an actual yard, man. I mean, going into those things, like you're sneaking in. I mean, there's fucking wire, like barbed wire and shit everywhere, and it's a bit daunting, eh? Like it's.
Put it this way, I was probably a touch luckier. The biggest thing we had to do was maybe jump a cyclone fence or something. So there was not much in the sense of barbed wire fences or anything like that. At the time when I was doing panels and everything, like towards the end when I'd done the last couple of panels, we unlocked the doors, I mean the gates and that with the keys. But, you know, up until then, it was sort of like, you know, the trains were just there. You just sort of, you know, left, right, look, maybe jump a fence and just walk into them. You know, walk around and literally just walk straight up to them. You know what I mean? And that's in probably a number of yards, probably the hardest, or not hardest, probably the most effort to get into a yard would have been Central, where you had, like, the way we done it, you could walk straight in through off the main road, in all honesty. But we'd walk across the tracks from the morgue side, and you had to climb the hill to get up to the top. And climbing the hill was probably the biggest effort to actually get up to the trains. But as I said, like, well, probably at that time, like when I look at different things now, which the guys, you know, the way that they do different stuff, like I think far out, like there's so much effort that you've got to put in now to get into a yard or something, and for 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever.
It's a military exercise.
Yeah, like they're crazy. I sit there and think, fuck, I don't know if I would have ever done that in that sense. Like we thought climbing up the side of an embankment was a big effort. Or, you know, like I heard the guys the other day talking about with that, like climbing down the side of the like you jump the fence, that's all you do. And climb down the side of the embankment just to get down there was an effort. So yeah, it's quite funny what they are now. But probably only one we've ever come across with barbed wire in it at the time would have been up in Mount, and that was probably, they had it round up in the actual grass, so you wouldn't see it when you actually were just walking up to the train itself. And once you did do it, you'd remember it all the time. After that, you knew exactly where it was. But that was probably the first sort of stuff like barbed wire and that we sort of come across, and it was sort of like a point like, really, are these guys for real? Like, as if you put barbed wire here, man, what a bunch of cunts. Like,
trying to rip my pants.
We walked into this place the other day. How could you do this? So
how dare you? Right, even getting into, even just being inside a fucking yard, man, like just seeing these big mechanical fucking train things, man. Like,
we used to drive our cars into them. If you want to think, like, Flemington yards, like, we didn't paint it. I was just, we were drunk and just being stupid. But we drove, like, I drove my car in there, and I had poor old Dote with me at the time, and woke him up, and fucking train sitting, you know, literally a meter away from the car, and he's like, what the fuck, you know, spitting out. But the difference being in the point of that, it was a difference in the way of security. Like, when we drove past, sure I had my wife and my son with me at the same time, and it was more just, as I said, fucking around. But like the guys that had come through, like workers, and you'd say hello to them. Like everyone knows that story of it with Tavern and Hype and everything, where you're on that. But that's sort of how it was. You go, "How you going, mate? Yeah, just going to see John or something." They go, "Yeah, no worries, mate, whatever." And you just off you go. They didn't care less about what you were doing, as long as you didn't affect them, if that makes any sense.
What's that? What's that story you were saying with Tavern and Hype?
There's an old story. I'll have a look it up in the Hype magazines. There's an old story where Tavern took some people to do panels, but he just mentioned that part there. Like, where are you going? I'm just going down to see Frank or something at the back type thing. But that's point being, that's what it was like. Like you could just say, if you saw people, you just say, "We're doing this, doing that, whatever," and 9 out of 10 times they never cared. So
wow, okay.
As long as you didn't cause them any dramas or issues, it was fine. So it's just different. Whereas now, without knowing it, I imagine they'd probably be a lot different in their in their answers back if you're driving a car into a train yard. Or I think it'd be just accepted now as just a normal, like, oh, yeah, that's whatever. It'd be completely different. So
yeah.
So different time, different things you could get away with. So.
Oh mate, I've heard some stories where people just bring cases of beer in there and just fucking have a party all night, especially out in Southwest kind of thing.
I know people that took pizzas and beers to do panels and done panels with pizzas and beers. So
mate, what a time! What a fucking party!
Nice and easy. So, it's funny, different parts, but that's not my story, so I won't go into it. But I do know it happens. So
yeah. I mean, do you have any memorable train missions that you can bring out?
We had a lot of good times. Like, we were lucky, as I said, we're lucky in a lot of times that we didn't have those big dramas in when we were doing trains. So like we'd spend 3 hours without an issue in yards, and stand there and bits of paper and throw up outlines, and then we'd all talk about it. Like, this is with WL and that. So with this was Skay, Dream, Roski, Muffins.
So this is a bit while longer. Yeah, this is probably about 10 years later or more. Maybe?
Yeah, this was around 95, 94, 95.
Yeah.
So we do stuff there, and like yards, you'd throw your outlines up and everything, and everyone would stand there and we'd talk and we'd discuss it, fill stuff in, you'd walk along, have a chat to each other.
Like a fucking legal wall.
Yeah, basically. And, do a piece and, go, I reckon, maybe we should move this here, move that there or some shit, whatever, da-da-da. Or here, I've got this colour, I reckon that'd go awesome with this part of your panel or something. And that's what we do. And as I said, we're lucky in the sense that we weren't under massive time. Sorry, my dog just keeps coming in.
That's all right.
Massive time restrictions and restraints, and security wasn't a big thing. Like, every now and then, don't get me wrong, we did get different chases, and well,
come on, give us one.
What was probably the worst place where you get chased from, in all honesty. It was always hit and miss, mainly because Tavern was smashing it at the time, and he was doing it constantly. So you'd always have the GTF there. So it'd be one of those things that'd be like, should we do it or should we not? Say he hadn't done anything for a while, and they'd start working out where everyone was doing their panels. They knew that you'd be up or down, whatever, at Central, which everyone went to, and they just start working their way around. We went to do, as I said, one time we didn't even get into the place, and they're standing at the gates, and it's like, oh, well, don't worry guys, see you later, we'll go, and off we went. True. But it was probably the worst because they were always after Tavern. But we jumped across there one night and literally almost jumped into them. They were sitting on the other side of the fence, to sort of jump over. Oh, sorry, mate. Jump back over and start take off down the road, and fucking we're hiding in between fucking houses and laying down and shit, and then being from out west, you know, like we had cars and that at this particular time, but it's still a pain in the ass because all those streets have no cars on the roads. They're all quiet. There's no one around. It's, you know, people are all, you know, asleep or inside. So, you know, they're running around everywhere. You can't just jump into the car because then they're like, fuck, pull that car over the car, you know, or run plates or something. So, you know, you're hiding in, as I said, back of houses, you know, behind gates, behind doors and fucking all sorts of shit just to try and wait for these guys to go so you can get in the car, get up onto the highway and get out of the place. So, but yeah, that's sort of the biggest parts that we had, like in there. Like you go out to the yards outside, like down that, which was probably a trap if they wanted to. Like,
middle of nowhere.
And that's the thing. That's what it is. Like and then you got to park. Like we'd take a car down there. You'd have to park the car right off around this back streets, get across the highway, and then get down and get into it. But if they come down and raided the place, well, you'd be fucked because they'd only have to stop the like on the top of the highway, and you wouldn't get your car through. So
into the forest you go.
Yeah, and that's it. Hide. Well, we had to do that at one time. We all hid in the top of the trees, I suppose, forest, where you call it, bush.
A fucking leopard.
Waiting for these guys to go so we could get out of it. And it took us probably about 6 hours to get back down to Penrith. Like we hadn't even got to where we're going to. Like,
fuck, what a mish.
Trying to jump between taxis and fucking trains and hide around train stations and that. But middle of winter, so we're burning fucking the bins to fucking try and keep warm, like full ghetto style. So yeah. But they're sort of the funny ones. But yeah, we never had too many real super bad chases. Like we managed to get pretty much most of our stuff done all the time and be able to get out. So we're all pretty lucky in that sense around that time, probably because they said they were too busy trying to basically catch Tavern, really is what they were all after. So they sort of put their focus on him, and everyone else could sort of try get what they were doing done because they were just focusing after that one person at the time. So
so he was smashing it like he did when he's been recently, man, like on the trackside and all that now, man. It's fucking great to see. Like,
it's awesome. And you know what I mean? Like him, you know, other guys at the moment that are still out doing stuff and having to go and doing it properly. They said, like, you see a couple of guys from WL that are still doing stuff at the moment too, you know, and it's awesome to see, you know what I mean? The only thing which I ever hope for people, you know, probably a little bit older now, is people can get away from jail and stay out of jail, stay away from that spot and actually get out and enjoy a bit of their life, you know what I mean, and do stuff, not be hounded and hammered and, you know, tracked down all the time because it's something you done 20 years ago and they're still trying to make you pay for it. So, you know,
I think
they do.
I think I mean, most graffiti writers, you'd probably agree with me, but I think most of us are addicted to something, right? And I think even when you stop writing and you're doing some other stuff, working or whatever, and then someone goes, "Oh, come and do a piece, man." You do a piece, and then your addictive mentality just goes, "Oh, I'm going to do 1,000 pieces now." Like it just fucking never leaves you, man. It's like a bug. Like everyone says, the graffiti bug. It's fucking true, I reckon. Like
100%. And at the end of the day, graffiti's not a bad thing. Like at the end of the day, it's a layer of paint. Like honestly, who gives
it's art, man. It's art.
Well, it's art.
Yeah,
I've had people tell me it's not because it's not done with paint. But anyway, I don't know how they worked that out. But anyway,
exactly.
But you know, it's a layer of paint. Like, fuck, it makes the trains look better. It makes the train lines look better. It makes everything look a lot nicer than just going to, like, for people who've got to go to work and just look at the same shit.
A brown wall.
Yeah, that's it. But that addictive part is definitely there, which is probably where the issues go elsewhere when, you know, depending which way graffiti you want to go, whether you want to be graffiti that, you know, hangs out, you know, the local shops and everything's, well, not shops, any say the local studio or something, and everything's cool and, you know, there's never any issues, you know, and best of luck to guys that do this, get paid a lot of money for what they're doing, or you then go the other side, which is more the adrenaline-based side, which, you know, then comes with everything else, you know, borrowing different materials, fucking going through, you know, robbing different stuff, etc., whatever it is that people do, and then obviously, you know, drugs, etc., like that, which is more that criminal side of that that graffiti, which, you know, again, as you said, that's the addictive part of what people get addicted to. I think is the excitement of being able to get away with more and more and more, and how far it goes, and then it becomes that lifestyle, which becomes very hard to break. So
yeah.
But that addiction is definitely there.
Mate, yeah, I know what you mean. It's I mean, back in those days, I mean, you could say like the Harry was getting around a fair bit.
Definitely.
I mean, fucking everyone was doing it, man. Like it was like, fuck, there's so many riders that got into it. I mean, I don't know if you ever got into it or whatever, but yeah,
that was
it was huge back then, like the Cabramatta days. Fuck, man.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that, man? What happened back then?
Fuck, that's where my life. That's where I went through.
Okay.
That part of everything was that different part of your graffiti crews. So, you know, like you had particular crews that were just very focused on that crime, that drug element. Heroin was the big drug at the time, and you know, a lot of people would spin out on a lot of different people that actually were on heroin at one stage or another. It's not a drug now, or wasn't a drug that was very well, still not a drug that you want to go talk about. It's not something that you'd encourage anyone to go do, but you know, nowadays you get ice and shit like that, which pretty much makes heroin look like pot.
Oh, it's way worse. Yeah.
You know, but it was part of that lifestyle, which is what, you know, that you know, wake up, that searching, that
well, that's where searching really kind of came from, I guess, kind of thing. Or what would you say?
Not directly from heroin. Searching's been around for a lot longer. It's just you know, guys that were searching ages ago, back in the early or mid 80s, and that, you know, that had nothing to do with heroin. That was just they
trying
worked
to make
out
some money.
Well, they worked out how to make money. Yeah, it's just that when you do make that type of money, or you're getting that type of money, it comes along with part of that lifestyle, which is what part of the problem with in the sense with drugs are. So, you know, and people look at it in different ways too, like, oh fuck, I want to be like this person, that person, fuck, they do mad pieces, they take this drug, fuck, I'm going to go do it too. And
it's like a wave, man. It's like a wave.
Yeah,
everyone sees it and starts doing it.
Yeah, and people do it, and then it becomes like that cool thing. It's no different to, you know, smoking a cigarette, smoking
a cone in
smoking
a cone or some shit
like that, having a beer, fucking, it's like, fuck yeah, let's go do it. And it's not until it then grabs people that it becomes an issue. So that's where the problem out of it, or out of, like with heroin and different other types of drugs, cause that problem. But yeah, then on the flip side to it, it was, you know, all that time, Cabramatta and all that at those times, that was, you know, another crazy,
yeah.
You know, some of the stuff we used to see around those places was just nuts. Like, you know, like your Wild West shit, just things that, you know, people get belted, people getting bashed, robbed, you know, trucks driving around with massive battering rams on the top of them, you know, like the, you know, just that whole, you know, couple of years, 3-4 years was just, or 5 years, whatever it was just crazy. Like,
yeah,
you know, you wouldn't see anything like it again. There'd be no way a government, police, anything would allow that to happen again the way that it did around Cabramatta, Fairfield, etc. Like that was just, you know, even Redfern, but that was just a complete different time of life. But you go out to those areas now, Redfern included, and you don't see nothing like
it's nice. Great areas now. I mean, you got all the food influences going out to Cabramatta. It's like, you guys don't know what it used to be like back in the day.
No,
you couldn't get off the train without a fucking dealer asking you if you want something.
100%. Like last time when I was in Sydney, I was down Redfern, and fucking You know, you got Lamborghinis and shit parked in the main street. Like the only time I ever saw stuff like that growing up, they'd have a screwdriver or something hanging outside of them. Now it's just sitting there properly. You know what I
Prime
mean?
real
Like,
estate, mate. That's what it is.
yeah,
Next to the city,
it's nuts. But yeah, but it's better. Like at the end of the day, I suppose people grow up in that sense, and I would prefer to see people not go through that type of a lifestyle if they don't have to. So,
yeah.
but at the same time, it was a pretty incredible, awesome part of a lifestyle to live.
Wild ride, mate. A wild ride.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's 6 of one, 6 of the other.
Yeah. I mean, can you get into any of those when you started getting into the Harry stuff, or probably not? Or
Put it this way, like,
I can edit it out if you don't want to, man. That's fine.
No, there's no great story to it. Like, all my friends know whatnot, so it's not like it's anything hidden. And in all honesty, it doesn't so much worry me because it is part of who I am. So, you know, it cost me a lot of different time and different bits and pieces in things. It caused a lot of issues elsewhere. But, you know, it's one of those things that with people like, you know, and getting away from it was probably the bigger story out of it, where I actually done all of this part alongside one of my good friends at the time who's passed away, Gain. So we both sort of sat there and were like, fuck, this is shit. You know what I mean? What are we doing? We need to start doing something properly. And we done it together. So, you know, that part was a pretty cool thing. And there was, you know, another person, without going into the names, I don't know if they want their name mentioned in this part, but done it at the same times. And
sorry to interrupt you. Like, how did that come about? You first getting into it? Like, was it just a general progression from, like, you know, partying and shit, and then someone just goes, "I'll have some of this." You know what I mean?
It was the same thing, like just with graffiti. It was like everyone was doing it, so it was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it." You know, I mean, no second thought on anything. It was like, "Oh well, if everyone else is doing this, sweet, I'll go do it." So when your parents used to say, if you made a jump off the bridge, would you? In all honesty, yeah, probably would have.
Yeah.
Because everyone else was doing something. So it seemed like a cool thing at the time. So off you go. And then, like everyone else, you know, you're like, fuck, this will never affect me. I'll be fine. This will do nothing. And then you say that, you know, 1,000 times over. But, you know, like, but that's just what it was like.
It starts, I mean, I've never done it, but I thank fuck I didn't, because I probably would have been. I would have fucking definitely gone down that alley, but because everyone's got addictive personality in graffiti anyway. But how was that first kind of? I mean, everyone talks about the first hit or whatever, and it's like fuck.
It's like anything. It's awesome. Like the first time you have it, like it's just incredible. Like you spew your guts up, you fucking whatnot. But you know, it's like anything. You just that euphoria or something is awesome. So, you know, but then all you ever do, like anything else, is just go chase yourself or
chase the dragon.
Chase it for something. chase basically, but chase it for something that you're trying to, you know, get again. But it's no different. Like that relates straight back to painting. You know, like you're always trying to do something better, trying to do your better poem, better piece, better this, better that, whatever. Get up more, do a better tag, whatever it is, and you go from there. But you know, like it's, as I said, it's another thing. It's not something I hugely do talk about in its own way, but it's something that, you know, makes you who you are. And then going forward, like in all honesty, for myself, it's probably made myself a lot more, you know, resilient on things, and then a lot more like, you know, it's like, oh well, fuck it, if that's, you know, it is, fuck whatever, but not give up on something, if that makes sense. Sort of a bit weird way to say it, but it makes you a lot stronger person.
Mate, if you can get away from, if you can get off that shit and get away from it, mate, that's probably one of the strongest people, I reckon, in society. Like, I can't even imagine doing it and then trying to get off it. Like, not many people do, man. So it's a testament to you, man. So congratulations.
And to everyone else. But like what you said before, I remember when I was and this is where it goes through why do you do something. I remember I was doing a piece in Kashula, was it on those legal tanks?
The tanks,
with Unity and I don't know, someone else, might have been Onions or someone, I can't remember. But there was all these young lads sitting there, and I kind of think I know who they are, but I'm not directly 100% sure off the top of my head. But one of them guys are like, oh, do you do this? Do you do that? Oh, that's what everyone does. Oh, we're going to go do that. And I remember actually asking, I said, well, why would you go do that? And they're like, oh, because everyone else does. And at times I was like, oh, yeah, sweet, whatever, best of luck, knock yourself out, have fun. But that still goes back to that same part of pick which side of graffiti you want to go to. Do you want to go to the graffiti side that, you know, was cool and good, didn't do anything wrong, you know, smoked a bit of pipe, enjoyed life, or you go to that other side to fucking literally just go as far down south as what you can and experience a complete different lifestyle. So
The dark side.
Yeah, dark side, that's a better way to say it.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. It was just, you know, like, oh, well, if I'm going to do this, we'll do it properly. Let's go. And off it went. So, yeah.
That's that kind of, I mean, that's where searching kind of really took off even more, because then you're trying to fucking earn more money to try and pay for some other shit, you know what I mean? So that's where it started to take off, I guess. Would you reckon?
Well, that was probably when I got involved in all that sort of stuff, was more so along that line, or when I got more into it, as I might say, was more along that line, like, you know, living in and out of hotels, you know, making sure you've got everything for the day, night, etc. And start again the next day, like, you know, so that again, there is a whole different lifestyle with it, which graffiti sits on the side of it as such. And when I was sort of at that part, like, I'd spend all day just bombing trains, but you're always out doing something else. Like, you just bomb trains all day long. So, and then you'd run into everyone. You know, you'd be like, oh, where are you going? Oh, I went to here, went to there, etc. And off you go, and you'd meet up and go off and do what you're doing, and, you know, get back and discuss who got what, who didn't, and what's something that you've seen that could be done later that you need help with or something. And that was how that lifestyle was at that time. So
crazy times, man. Crazy fucking times.
Just one of that's all it was. It was just one of those spun out things. It was, as I said, I wouldn't recommend that lifestyle to anyone. I've had a lot of friends that have passed away from that side of life, or have got really sick over years later from that side of life. But, you know, that side of life, I think, makes people who they are at the same time. So true.
I mean, going all through all that. I mean, you said you're really close mates with Gain. Who started KO Kings Only? How'd that come about?
Gain started that.
Yeah.
Just a long time ago, probably, give or take around 2000 or somewhere like that.
Oh, okay.
And originally, like, there was only him. There was another guy, Porno, that wrote it once or twice, because, like, I was writing RBS at the time, and for whatever reason I never wrote KO, but we hung out all the time. But Cade was writing it, I think, at one stage, or something with him, but then it ended up just being Gain. Like, at the end part of the day, Gain was writing it, he was doing it, and it was more or less just his thing. And then time later, he got Unique, myself, like, there was a few other guys like Jive and that were writing it as well. But yeah, just more or less just ended up sort of with Gain, Unique, and myself at the, like, well, to what it is known as today as such. But like I said, still get Jive and a few other guys that put it up every now and then, and go hard.
It is a fucking sick crew name, I reckon. KO, like, it sounds hard, bro. It's like, you know, it was perfect for Gain, in all honesty. That's what it was, and the way that it come about. And at the end of the day, like, you know, I've said this a few times as well, I'm probably lucky in the sense that I write that more so because of friends, more so than style or anything like that. But, you know, like, it is, you know, him, Unique, and said, like, when Cade put it up, you know what I mean, different other people, in the sense, like, it is a crew that you know, the name of the crew is the people that are actually painting it. You know, like they said, at the end part, it was a tight knit crew, in the sense, with just the three of us that were in bunch of mates.
Yeah, and, you know, we used to party all the time, whatnot, you know, and always go out. Whether we painted all the time was different stories, but we always was more of a tight knit crew where everyone hung out together, talked to each other. We, knew each other's parents, go to each other's house, all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like there was not like, oh, is that your mum or something? They'd be like, oh, how you going? Like, my mum and dad like, oh, I'm going, you need, etc. You know what I mean? So, my kids, etc. They would know, vice versa. Unique's kids, etc. Everyone knew each other as a real solid little crew in that sense at the end park. So it was really cool.
How was how was Gay, man? Because like I never got to actually meet him before he passed. I mean, every single person that I speak to, man, they all say he was a fucking legend, man. So like, run me through like his personality, how he was, like if you can.
Yeah, no, he as what people say, he is what he is. Like, Mayor of Redfern is what a lot of people used to call him, but he was one of those people that, he lived a lot, like he had a lot harder life than what, most other people did. He grew up on the streets, everything, etc. Even though his mum and dad, which were awesome people, which have both passed away as well. So rest in peace to them as well. His brother, etc., which, but just the way he grew up, he grew up through the cross, everything, out west in different spots, city, mainly Redfern, etc., everything. But it was just he was just more of a 100% in what he done. Like he done jail at, he was in Lithgow at 18 or something like that. Wow, you know what I mean? Which is pretty hardcore in its own way. Like a lot of boys' home, everything. But the thing with him, he just didn't treat people like shit for no reason. Like if you fucked him around, he'd hit you without an issue. But if you're done the right thing to him, or you're a good person, then he'd treat you as such. So that's the reason why a lot of people, would say that. Like he'd be at shows and that, buy all, DVDs for, the younger guys that were making music and that. Be like, yeah, here you go, $10, yeah, sweet, I'll buy it. And he'd grab it. Like that was his way of trying to support the scene and help the scene and everything. So
that's beautiful, man. Wow.
Like he was good in that, in all that part. So
that's why. Man.
Yeah, that's why people would say that. You know what I mean? And other than that, like he bombed a lot, got up a lot. He's like, in all honesty, that'd be someone you'd want. Like, I'm not going to tell his stories, but
that's why I'm asking, man, because I would have loved to have him on the podcast, man. But fuck, man, there's stories that he's got that just man, fuck,
just puts everyone else's story. You sit there, you think, fuck, my story, shit, like it's rubbish, like. But again, with him at the time, everything was a fun day. It was always a good day, when we do our shit and doing what we're doing. There was always fun things that had happened. You know what I mean? Like if you run through the city and end up chased by this person or something, or you get this, a car or a bike or something, whatever, and it'd just always be funny stories. So,
I've heard.
It's just like that. It couldn't just be anything normal. That was probably the other part. There's nothing that could ever be anything normal with him. He couldn't just have a normal day where just normal things happen. It'd have to be something that was different.
Yeah, a bit of fucking fun with life, mate.
Yeah. And you just sit there and be like, are you serious? Like, everything was normal for the day, and now you'd bring this up or do this, and now look at the day, it's just turned into fucking chaos. But, but that was him. That was what he. That's how he was, and said like anyone would tell you the same stories. So,
oh yeah, man. I've only heard good things about him, man. So rest in peace, man. Fuck. I mean, you're in RBS as well. How did that come about, man?
So when I moved up to Ashfield, when I moved there, me and my wife, we moved to Ashfield, I don't know, 95, I think it was. So like it was a little bit past in the sense of where RBS was like full on crazy, like that 93, 94 or 92, 93, 94 time. But when we moved up there was a couple of other guys from out west that were living up there at the time. No and Fame, who's also passed away, so rest in peace.
Yeah.
But they were living up there, and then there was a few of the other boys living up there, all Switch, Poems, Don't, BK, etc., which, you know, are all, you know, as close to, if not original RBS from when it all started. So, yeah, just in the sense hanging out with those guys all the time. And when we lived up there, and then, yeah, it just ended up that way. It was just like bombing and all that one time. I was just like, for fuck's sake, are you going to write RBS, or are you just going to keep fucking writing your name without RBS with all us here? So that's sort of how it worked out in its way. So, but yeah, so it was just from hanging out with the guys all the time.
Do you know how it actually started, the RBS crew?
It started on, let me think whose was. I think it was Poems' birthday. So there was him, Switch, Spies. I can't remember if it was someone else at the time, and that's where it started. Like because they were all writing MTA, Matter Venard, I think it was. No, yeah, that's not. Yeah. Devastation Phase 1. Sorry, they were writing DP1, Devastation Phase 1.
Okay.
At the time, and they, you know, they were obviously getting quite good. And for whatever reason, they were changing the crew. I'm not 100% sure the reason why they were changing the crew. So, but they were changing the name, and Switch was the one that come up with Rebels as RBS. There used to be another crew that used to do it with an R or something, but I'm not 100% sure how that, or the connection to it. But the Switch come up with RBS for Rebels, and because they were all at Ashfield, they went done a piece that night, and then that's where then you get Don't, BK, etc., and all the guys from there on in, just yeah, everyone joined. So it's basically all Ashfield. There's a number of girls, etc., that were there as well. The different guys. I'm going to try to remember names in a minute, but and that's where the crew started from, and then you end up obviously with the guys from you know, different guys out west, like had Roski and all that from out west, Hooker, Cousin, etc., and ended up at different times. Then you had Demote, Fibber, Haro, Satch, or
Demote was RBS?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah,
RBS at one time with the North Shore. When,
right.
And then obviously Tavern come down from where he was, and you know,
okay,
they all went everywhere. So that, but that's the crew that everyone sort of more knows. Go back to that time of that 93, 94 time when they were just up everywhere, and I said like Demote and Haro and all that, which were, you know, miles ahead of everyone else at that time. Yeah, etc. So yeah, that's
what's the relationship with like 210? So you got RBS 210. A lot of people write that too. Is that kind of like the searching kind of thing to join together with the artist, like the art side of things too, or what's going on there?
Yeah, like, 210 obviously is a key. Everyone should know it's a key.
Yeah.
The obviously, as I said, without going into too much on this because it's not my side of it. Obviously, the different guys were making obviously a lot of money at the time. There was, you know, without going, we're not going to go into names or anything, but there was a fair few guys that were making a hell of a lot of money at the time. And yeah, anyway, that's where sort of 210 come around. So
it's kind of like mates with mates, and then you just join the group.
Yeah,
that's not. But like is a joint? Is it like kind of like a joint crew kind of thing, or
it's be more affiliated as such?
Yeah,
would be the easiest way to say it, because not everyone that wrote RBS wrote 210, and not everyone that wrote 210 wrote RBS.
Yeah, right.
But,
okay. Yeah.
You'd probably find it's about 90% that did.
Yeah.
But, that just become that different crew at the end and become that searching crew for that particular time.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously the next part's history. They meet up with a lot of different other guys where, you know, you get crews like HR in time later on.
Yeah, that was more my era, the HR side of things.
Yeah, into
the younger guys, right?
Yeah, but very much affiliated into that line and that lifestyle. So and then it definitely holds its own in its own spot. But as I said, I was not part of it, but it's sort of like I can only sort of say what other people say in
Yeah,
the
of
one
course,
sense.
man.
There's probably bits and pieces that I don't know, which, you know, I don't want to sit here and try and make out like I know something I don't. So,
Oh, mate, everyone's fucking memories faded from back then. We're talking fucking 30 years ago. So
now
it's like,
it's
it's
a
a long
while.
time
So,
ago.
yeah.
All right. Going into that, let's go into like your. I'll just ask you, mate. What's your top five graffiti writers?
Um,
Have you got a list, mate, or
so
what?
yeah. So no. I was just thinking like the guys which I like, yeah, we'll go to Sydney in the sense like, yeah,
Yeah.
you've got all I like different guys from Melbourne and that. Like obviously everyone like stuff like Puzzle, Tame,
Oh,
New and all that. Like those guys, you know, reach and you know, a lot of them are actually awesome guys too. They're heaps cool guys. They're so different to what, you know, Sydney is like. Not everyone, but like those guys were just very relaxed. All the times I've met these guys, they're very, very relaxed, very chilled, happy to have a chat. There's no doesn't seem to be much ego in those guys. Um, you know, I hope I'm not wrong in saying that. I hope someone doesn't say "fuck you" talking about. But
yeah, that's all
those
right, mate.
guys
Leave it in the comments.
to me have always been good. But
Yep.
going to Sydney, like for myself, like, you know, as I said before, JC was always someone that I looked at in the sense of awesome or really good writing, like his pieces, and then different guys later on, like, you know, you got Demote, which you know, Demote and Haro both, when they, especially when they come back from Melbourne, their stuff for me at the time, like, not that I really saw their stuff for 2 years later, but when they come back to me, their stuff at the time was, you know, way above everyone else's, what they're doing. You know, Seven, I've always liked what Seven's done.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
His
same.
pieces and that, like he's just that very old Sydney style sort of painting, and sort of get back more into the older sort of writers in the sense, Scotty Styles, Pays, like those are guys
Aza, yeah.
which I looked at the time, like when I was younger, and for fuck, you know, if I could ever do something remotely close to what these guys are doing, you know, I might
Still
be half
painting, man.
decent.
Still painting.
Oh, and incredible.
Fucking wild.
Like it's just nuts. But like they're the sort of the style wise part of like what I liked growing up, and then, you know, as said, then, you know, like Trains and that was, you know, like you got heaps of people in the sense of Trains, people that just smashed it nonstop. Like I always liked what the guys from RBS done and said, like across the whole board, like don't, you know, Satch, Tavern, Fibber, you know, all those guys, what they done in painting. I've always liked what they're at in their piece or panels anyway. But yeah, who else? Like,
What
yeah,
about
I like
that?
stuff.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I just like stuff like yeah, you know, honestly, what Dream and Catch used or Scave used to do. I used to like their stuff as well when I was painting with them. Like, you know, obviously I like Gain stuff. You know,
Yeah,
we
man.
painted all the time. He done a lot of very nice pieces that, you know, well and truly, you know, hold their style above anyone else. Bombing wise, no one will ever beat Gain in bombing.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a number of different people. They're sort of, you know, probably lucky, unique. Fuck, if I forget to say unique. Unique's, I've always liked his stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And as I said, I was probably just lucky that I've kind of been able to be friends with these guys over time and actually get to paint with them too, which is, you know, you don't always get to paint with people that you think are
The
great
legends.
writers. Yeah, and then when you get to paint with them, then become friends with them, you're sort of like, fuck, that's actually not too bad. So
Yeah. What about international artists? Any?
I don't know.
Well, you're
To be
more
honest,
focused on Australians, on the
I've
Sydney shit.
always more like Sydney. Like I like,
Sydney,
you know,
Sydney style.
yes, that's it. Like I know it's pretty boring in that sense, really. Like overseas, I guess, yeah, I like more of the, you know, cliche comment, more of the old New York sort of painters and stuff, like with what they do. But you know, Tats Crew and that, which, you know, they're nice. So I didn't actually Sweat and Can Two and that. I don't mind their stuff, but they're sort of, without knocking them, they're probably very well, what's the word? Get a lot of recognition or a lot of focus. Actually, Bates is probably someone I do like. And he probably gets a lot. I just feel his style is he's always looking at or pushing a different style. The same that Atom one,
Atom, yeah,
all his old
Atom
cars.
or whatever, yeah.
Not Atom from here, Atom
Yeah,
one.
yeah. Sorry,
yeah. All his whole cars that he's done.
He fucking. I don't know how he does it, bro, but he fucking every time I'm on Instagram, I see like these full color burner. It's like a fucking Liga wall to him, bro. He just
knocks them out left, right, and center. So yeah, they're probably the cliche people overseas that you get to see, but I've never been overseas to see anyone else. But they're the ones that I sort of don't mind looking at when I see their stuff on the computer and that. So
all right, what about top 5 crews, mate? Besides RBS and KO. Don't be biased, mate.
Don't be biased. Put it this way, like in Sydney, you'd probably have to go stuff like, who would I pick? Like, I'm probably going to be a little bit more old in that sense, but I'm not trying to say it's just the stuff that I actually liked, but PIC, RCF, TDF when I was growing up, like I always liked their stuff. Now or stuff now, who do I like now? So I don't even know any actual proper crews.
Yeah, I was going to say you've been
names in all honesty, but like I like looking at a lot of the this. I don't know who it is. There's some guy that puts up shitloads of panels on the on Instagram and always at Central, looking down at Central, and like there's some pretty cool fucking panels that are coming through, like, and you see it, and I always think, fuck, these guys are probably where you should be, looking at now. But they're it. Like I said, I'm probably a little bit biased in this sense. It's probably a bit more older crews that I liked, but that's just sort of what I grew up on. That's
for sure.
Not trying to be old or anything. I'm just not 100% sure.
No, you only know what you know, mate. That's it. Yeah.
But
you've had a bit of a not a hiatus. I mean, you still paint every
hiatus.
Yeah. Well, fuck, mate. Come on, everyone's got lives to live. You know what I mean?
I get to paint once a year, basically, when I get back to Sydney. So, but it is what it is. What do you do?
But I mean, so you made the move interstate. So obviously you don't get to paint as much. You're working hard or whatever. It's
work is everything at the moment. It takes basically all the attention in its own way. And for where I am, it's not really a place that you go paint.
So you can't really go to the graph shop in
there's nothing huge. It's kind of not what it is, but it's probably I don't really bring it up too much or try and leave it because of where I am. It's not kind of probably what the what is discussed.
The overlords don't want you to know. Don't want to know about it.
That's it. It's easy sort of just to leave it and where I am at the moment and do what I'm doing now. And then when I get home, then I can actually catch up with everyone and, be normal as such. Do a piece and get it out of your system for another year and then come back to work and wait till I get back a year later. So
yeah. I mean, do you look at much stuff on Instagram to see how Sydney's going? I mean, what do you think about the Sydney scene at the moment?
I think, well, as I said, there's panels getting done all the time. I just wish I knew who the people were so I could sort of say it in the sense so it doesn't sound like I'm just talking shit. But I reckon it's awesome personally. Like I'm happy to see the trains get painted all the time. To me, trains are where graffiti is, and I think anyone, like, by all means, paint the walls and that, do some awesome paintings and that on the walls. And there's stuff I wish I could paint on the walls that some people do. But if you're not, if you've never painted trains in your own city, well, you've missed something. If you ask me, you've got to, if you want to do everything properly in its own sense, you at least got to paint a train in your own city to say that you've done the right thing. Like I know of, I'm not trying to knock anyone, but I know of different people that have been overseas, painted shitloads amounts of trains overseas, and well done to them. It's awesome, but still haven't painted a train in their own city.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you Backyard Prince. This guy and his company, fucking amazing. I love everything he does. I mean, he's not just about his business, he's just about spreading the love in the culture, and I really trust this guy. So just want to say, shout outs to him. Check out this shit. Look at that. Hologram sticker. I mean, he does a lot of other stuff. He's an Australian custom printing business that specializes in creating custom stickers and printed products, particularly stickers. It's made from materials like eggshells and vinyls, including options like hand screen printed designs. They offer custom print services where you can submit your artwork and have it printed on various sticker formats for personal or commercial use. So, I mean, you can print a fuckload of stickers from this guy. So, go to www.backyardprints.com. His Instagram is backyardprints, obviously. But get your orders in there. He can do. He's got some great deals going on. One of the more economical side of prints, I reckon. And I mean, I've got the eggshell sticker here too. Check it. I mean, I've sent it to a couple of people. Positive vibes from everyone. So jump on board, support him who supports the scene. So really appreciate him coming on to the Aussie Battler journey. So thank you very much. Let's get back into it, eh? Because it's so fucking hard to do it.
probably is. But at the same time, you've got to do it. It's got to be done. So you can at least say,
at least have a crack.
And that's it. Like, just do it once, then you can say, at least you've done it and go for your life. Paint overseas as much as you want, but you got to do your own city. Otherwise, you miss out. And I'm pretty sure most people would agree with me on that part. But looking at the stuff on internet, on Instagram, it's some awesome stuff.
Still going all right.
Yeah, it's some fucking mad pieces. Like, obviously the guys that are painting the lines, or even the lines. Like, obviously you'd see it because you're still in Sydney. Like, just the shit that I see on the internet and that, like, just piece after piece after piece after piece, and it's like, fuck, that's mad. You know what I mean?
There's
awesome.
like a wave of like old school riders coming back. I mean, you were talking about Jeno before, man. He's been doing some fucking track sides, bro. I don't know if you still talk to him or whatever, but man, him. I mean, obviously Tav. There's another guy, Tew, used to write Jasky. He's doing pieces too, man. Like, it's cool to see them all come back because, in 100%. My opinion, don't fucking shit on me, like, but I feel like the people that are painting on the train lines aren't as, like, good. I don't know. I feel like it's a bit...
Give or take, but it's a personal
it's a bit
opinion.
strange. It's definitely a personal opinion, but yeah.
Yeah, myself personally, I like stuff that's got sharp lines, corners, everything. Obviously like what I paint, more so than a rounded line. But I look at the sense of what probably the guys have got to time-wise, and you don't have time to sit there and do some perfect line, next line, join it all up to
just
get it right.
Just quick ones, I guess.
You've got to be able to get that smooth, straight line with a curve in it or something, get it right, in a tenth of the time that I would have had it in. So as I said, it's not maybe necessarily something that I try and do, but I look at it and think, you know what, probably for the time that you got and for what you're doing, fuck, it's an awesome effort.
At least they're bombing still, you know what I mean?
And go hard, like keep going, don't stop. Like, it's, the more of it's painted, like it just looks good. Like it's almost, I don't know, it's almost like it's accepted half the time now. It doesn't seem to be the be or twin, or like, maybe I don't see it, but you don't see the big
It's pretty covered, man. Like, I caught the train the other day, and it's pretty covered. Like, there's fucking pieces everywhere. There's fucking bombing everywhere. Like, it's still cranking, but you know what I mean. Just like me, like I'm not as old as you are, but like it's like, like I still love that kind of clean kind of piece. You know what I mean? It's just different.
Well, I was going to say, you don't get that going for what is it, an election or something coming up. So they bring up we're going to paint all the trains clean, or they paint all the walls, clean all the train shit anymore, like what they used to. They're big big things before. That's what I meant by it's sort of almost like it's accepted now in the sense of, oh, well, the train lines are painted, the streets are painted.
That's
but
it.
if you want to clean it, clean it. If you don't, leave it. So
Yeah, no, it's pretty
it's
good, man.
become part of the city as such.
Yeah, it's pretty good at the moment. I think there's a lot of shit on the lines, bro. Like it's not too bad. It's something to look at anyway, man. That's all I'll say. It's,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
good. It's good.
Yeah.
At least the scene's alive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, fully. And as long as it continues, like it's good.
Exactly,
You know
man.
what? And let everyone have their go at it. You know what I mean? Everyone have a crack at their time, getting up. You know, being the biggest crew up at the time, or you know, the person up and go hard. Fucking, you know, it doesn't last everyone forever. So
Yeah.
you know, and it's pretty hard to keep your name alive later on. You know, so you know, if you can get that point and you're not forgotten, well, you're doing something well. So it's good.
Might go into a bit of fucking music, man.
Yeah.
What type of fucking music were you into back in the day, and has it changed over the years, or just always hip hop, or what?
Started off as hip hop all the time. Like one of the first tapes that I ever actually got was Run DMC, Tougher Than Leather. So
Of course.
that was pretty cool. And then Public Enemy was who I liked a lot as a kid. And then obviously NWA, Ice-T, etc. Ghetto Boys later on is one of my favorite bands.
Classics.
But in saying that, now, like, I'm happy to listen to like a lot of different music now, like you know, different stuff from, you know, the 80s, even 70s, etc. Which don't mind listening to when you sit back, have a few drinks, you know, and you've got nice sound going. It is nice, but like music though, like especially hip hop was like at the time for myself growing up was huge. Like, you know, as I said before, like there was all break dancing, you had all different you know, beats and stuff. Like I can't remember all the names of who was who on the music at the time, and like you know, the guys break dancing to it, you try and break dance in your school in the hallways and everything. But like again, that sort of like another part goes to like another, you know, really cool time later on. Like again, I think I was only 16 or so. I don't think I was 17. I think I was still 16 at the time. And we had young black teenagers come out to Sydney. So they were playing up at Kinsella's. And this was sort of one of the times where you just think, fuck, I love everything about, you know, hip hop, graffiti, fucking music, etc. And anyway, I couldn't get in to start off with. So this is when I was riding BRP and hanging out with the guys from BRP. So I went up with the guys from BRP, and you know, there was all the RBS lads there on the side, and you know, this is when everyone got along and whatnot. Unique actually got me in to the concert. So this is what like used to happen at different times. Like, you know, if people weren't old enough, like, you know, in a sense, going, oh fuck no, he's part of the band, or he's part of this, he's doing this or something, and just get everyone in. You know what I mean? And like the bouncers would be looking, going, mate, whatever you reckon. But you know, again, you just get all younger people in there running go. So the concert itself was an awesome concert. You know, typical Sydney sort of way. Dream always said it was his pen. I'm pretty sure it was Dream, had no reason to say otherwise. But there was a silver pen, and fucking he started tagging the wall. Fucking then everyone tagged the wall. So I wish I had a photo of this wall. It would have had everyone, you know, from, you know, every crew in Sydney at the time, like,
wow,
tags all on this wall. JC's tagging the fucking the great big boom box up, or the speakers up on the top. Unique and all that, or Death Wish Cast, they all perform first, and then they perform first, sorry, and then young black teenagers afterwards. And then later on, like typical Sydney fashion, fucking there was these guys from Auburn turned up, and like there's a massive brawl. It's just all out brawl between, you know, these guys and, you know, or like I wasn't involved in it, but fucking all these other guys that were there, and like full on punching up and down stairways, everything, like fighting non-stop. And it was chaos. Like sort of, yeah, literally. And it was like at the end of it, you leave, and, you know, been impressionable, I suppose, and all that stuff. You're like, fuck, this is awesome. Like, I'm coming back next week. This is what I'm going to dedicate everything to. Like, this is unreal. Back on the train, bomb the train, etc. Da da da.
Yeah.
But yeah, but music was awesome, but like later on, like, you know, people like Rivals and that become good friends. Like he produced, like, him and Randy produced so many different shows through Sydney in the time, DJ Mime and that, etc. You know, Skay at the, like, he'd done a lot before, still does a lot now.
Shout out to Skay. He's jumped on the podcast, man. He's on.
Oh, he's on, is he?
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, he's good. I'll Skay. We went to school and that together. We've known each other a long time. I'll Skay.
Yeah.
But yeah, the music was always awesome. Like, you know, we used to have all these old battle raps before with like Schemo and Benji, you know, Forte and all that used to come up, and like, we just different people all the time. It was just, you know, like, this is what, probably 10, 15 years ago, I was saying, rather 15 years ago, give or take.
Probably more than that, I reckon.
and it was just that awesome scene, like,
everyone together, like, right?
Yeah, Deceiver and that, you know, like, or Sub C, etc. Like, it was just, yeah, it was awesome. Like, that part of the time, like, you know, to do it. Like, I know there was lots of music beforehand, like you know, West Side Posse and all that sort of stuff. What do you call it? Can't think of what Rosano's crew was. The Renegade Funk Train or whatever I think it was, or something, whatever all them guys were before. But I sort of missed all that part of it. With all that music at that side with Mr. E. I think he might have said something to it or mentioned something once before. He was involved a lot more in, or got to see that part of it, Savage Neek and that. But for myself, was more that later part, was more that, you know, same as the graffiti, was that battle, that, you know, wanting to prove you're the best, that sort of fighting type sort of part. So it all just rolled into one. So yeah, music was awesome for that part of the scene. So it's definitely part of the scene. Not everyone listens to hip hop, but it is part of the scene, definitely.
Yeah, I always thought that like Death Wish Cast was probably like the first one that I ever heard of. I didn't know there was anyone really much before that. I mean, you just rattled off a couple of names there, but, I think that's where like graffiti and MCing kind of joined together, would you say, back then?
Yeah, it's probably a bit more like Death Wish Cast. I've always said Death Wish Cast was sort of like that catalyst at the part that brought everything together. Like, as I said, like with can't think what the name is, stuck on my head, but with Rosano and his crew, like, yes, they use graffiti. They done stuff with I've
never heard of Rosano. What
is Snooze from Fab Four. So
okay.
That I just can't think of what his rap crew is, but like, yeah, they were some of the first writers in Sydney. So like, and then they done the music, they done stuff with I'm pretty sure they done something with Public Enemy and different pieces. So like, they were very groundbreaking in their time, but they said like they were 85, 86 type thing, like 87.
Wow, okay.
You know, like that was early. Like for myself, it was, you know, a bit later. Like I couldn't get into a club at 12, 13 years old. Like my mum and dad would have shot me trying to get out of the house. But, you know, later on when you're a bit older and you can get out and get to it, that was sort of was. But like I said, like so much well, like with Unique and all that Death Wish Cast, they sort of were able to sort of bring a lot of areas together, like especially on the West Line, going into Ashfield, places in like, you know, different parts in the city, and sort of bring people together, and then, you know, bring that graffiti to the hip hop, to everything like that, where, you know, as I said, like everyone, you know, like go all the way through, like Two Loco, etc. Everything. Like you go look at all these guys now that do all this stuff. A lot of them are graffiti background or have something to do with, you know, that part of the scene.
Yes.
And and doing the music, which is, you know, whether it's from them is 6 of one, 6 of the other, but the influence would have to be there in the sense that that's you know, push that line to get everything going. So
well, I remember Rage was a thing. And I remember seeing Death Wish Cast. I can't remember, it might have been a bit before my time, AUS Down, but I
Yep.
do remember seeing another one where they're like running through a forest with like guns and shit. I can't remember what it was. It guns or something like that? Laser beams or
Fucking
something?
swords or something.
Oh,
Like,
that's the one.
they got, that was one ages ago. I think they done
That
up
was a
there
later one, right? That was a later
up at,
track.
what do you call it? I think running from the desert, I mean the bush and that,
Yeah.
with the laser guns. I think they're, I can't think of what their
That would have
song's
been
called,
later,
but
right?
it's one of their later ones they done
Yeah,
a
because I
couple of
remember
years back,
coming
I
back from
think.
a club and
And
everyone
there was
just
some
sits.
spaceship or something
Yeah.
in the film clip. Yeah.
Yeah, I just remember
Didn't
coming
even
back from a
shoot me
club, just fucking
not
off
knowing his
chops,
songs,
just
but yeah, it was
chuck
one
on
of them.
Rage, and then just see
Mm.
what's coming up. And then I remember seeing Death Wish cast, and I was like, "Fuck yeah, these guns are sick."
Yeah. But at the time, it was awesome. Like we used to have stuff out at Blacktown at street level, and we'd have shows and concerts out there. And like for what they'd done, it had, brought people that wanted to rap to start
Huge.
rapping, and then it just brought everyone else together. And then like you get to meet different people, talk to people, and then you got to learn who's who, etc. And as I said, like they get up to like like young black teenagers, different other things where people are coming out going, oh yeah, fuck, we'll get you guys to support us. And for them guys, it's a big effort. So they done well. So
Definitely. I mean,
and apparently they've got new music coming out. So I heard something the other day. So we'll
oh
wait and
really?
see.
Is it? Are you jumping on their toes and giving us an exclusive?
But I don't know if it's just say he wrote it on his no clue. I wouldn't have a clue the song, but it's written. He put it on his Instagram or something the other day.
I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Yeah, I'll have to give him a call and ask him and say, mate, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, one more last than that.
Anyway. That's cool. It's all right. So mate, I think we've done pretty well, man. It's been it's been a couple of hours already. Fuck me.
That's so easy. But
I
yeah,
mean, yeah. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, unless there's anything else you directly wanted to know. So,
Oh man, I was gonna. I mean, you've got a family, right? You have kids and stuff, or
but my kids are older, like they're not kids as such. Like
how many kids you got?
I got two, so they're both
Yeah,
almost
okay.
30 and mid-20s. So
Yeah, right.
they both do pretty well for themselves at the moment. They're good jobs, process of buying houses and stuff. So
Oh
they're
wow,
doing really
fucking
well.
hell. Yeah, okay.
Doing a lot better than what their mum and dad done at the same age.
I
So
was gonna say, man, like, how did? I mean, I got kids
yeah.
too, man, and I just can't imagine like going through what you've been going through, like back in the day and stuff. How did that all kind of balance out and stuff? I mean, they would have fucking noticed you doing some crazy
Ah,
stuff,
my
surely.
my kids my kids know everything. There's nothing they don't. But as I
Yeah.
said before, like you know, Paul, in the sense of Paul Gain, like they know Charlene and everyone, like
Mm.
this fuck pick a rider, rivals, like whatever, like I mean, name multiple riders throughout Sydney. My kids know them all. They're like, oh, how you going? Da da da, Fibber, etc.
Wow.
Puddle, whoever, like, not trying to name drop in the sense, but like all
Yeah.
these guys that, my kids are just like, oh, that's so and so, that's such and such. But like the funny part with them, like even with school and like I know it's like conversation with another person and their kids said the same thing. It's like kids are going and going, oh, this graffiti artist here, this here, and my kids would be sitting there going, mate, I have to put up with this shit every day of the week, fucking all weekend. I've got people coming around, everyone wants to fucking talk paint. I don't want to hear about your graffiti shit anymore. And like they never hated it. They just look at them just like, fuck, really? You're
I've heard
excited
it all
about that?
before. Yeah.
I know all these people you're talking about, and you make them out to be great, and it's like, fuck, I know who they are. I know what they do on the weekend, but
Well, that's where I was
no,
kind of going with it. Like, how do you
now
How do you how do you
it
how do you how do you kind of not stop them from doing it, but like I guess they might have seen stuff and been like, oh,
it
hang on, I might not do that kind of thing. I don't know.
you'll never stop your kids from doing anything. The moment you ever
That's true.
now sound like a grandpa. The moment you ever start telling your kids not to do something, they'll go do it.
Yeah,
Because it's not
that's what I did,
anything that
man.
you've done or anyone else done. As soon as your mum and dad said don't do this, you're like, you know what I'm doing tomorrow? Fucking
Yeah,
exactly what you said don't do. So,
true.
like our kids probably were lucky in the sense the way they grew up. They'll a lot more. They had a lot more freedom than what probably a lot of other kids had. Like, just through everything they saw and where they were, places they went to. Like,
Okay.
so they were sort of, they never run amok, but probably because they had more freedom than anyone else, they just didn't bother with anything. So I was like, fuck, your big thing is to sneak down the road here and have a beer down the street. They're like, fuck, I'll just sit with my dad and his fucking 5 or 6 mates all talking shit, and I can have a beer with them for the night. Like, big deal. I don't have, and that's not us being bad, but if you get what I mean, it's like
That's what I'm kind of saying. Like if you
they didn't have to hide things. So
yeah, so what you're kind of saying is like the more you shield them from stuff, the more they're going to want to try and find out and try and do more.
Yeah, and now
yeah, that makes sense.
It's sort of just got to the point that it's like, fuck, whatever. All that stuff they could have done, they didn't have to, because it was not exciting to them, because it was like, my mum and dad say I'm allowed to go do this, like within reason.
Yeah, of course.
Let them go do something that's going to get them in big dramas, but like, they're like, I can do this at home. So what's the big deal about going down the street to do it? Like, why don't you just come to my house and we can just sit here?
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Yeah, everything, but no, they've worked out pretty good.
Yeah, man, sounds like
considering all the people and different things that they know throughout the place and different stuff. Yeah, they've done pretty good.
Yeah, nice, man. That's beautiful. Anyway, we might wrap it up pretty soon, man. But I'll just leave you with a couple more questions, man. Give us give me some life advice for just a general person, man. You've been through a lot, man. So
advice, you want life advice for me? Fuck.
I'll ask you the graph one later, but yeah, give general life advice.
Probably, this will be cliche on anything. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Like, to me, respect is always a big thing on everything. So with graffiti, with everything else, different other places that you visit or end up, respect is everything. So now I sound like I'm quoting movies as well, but what you say and what you do is what you're judged on. So if you're going to say you're going to do something, do it. If you're not going to do it, say you're not going to do it. Don't bullshit. Don't lie. Don't
be honest.
Just 100%. And people will always give you more time than someone that just blow asses and fucking doesn't do anything. So that's probably the biggest thing I can ever say is fucking just be real, be 100%, and fucking you go from there. Someone doesn't like you, so be it. It's the shit.
Yeah, fair enough. What about graph advice, man, for any young whippersnappers around? What advice can you give them?
Paint everything.
That's anything it. We're in the podcast now.
Anything that can be painted, paint it. Nah, fuck, I don't know. Graphs, like another thing, like more decisions. Whatever decision you want to take with it, go with it, run hard, and just enjoy it. Like, everyone's going to have their own little time. Everyone's going to have their own 5 minutes. And things that annoy me is when you hear people go on like, oh, I was a writer in fucking, I don't know, say 1988, so I'm better than you because you wrote in 94. Well, not really. Like, you've had your little time. You might have been good, you might not have been. But because, and can use me in the sense, I've done 4 pieces or 5 pieces in last 4 or 5 years. That doesn't make me out to be someone that's smashing pieces out all the time. Fucking one a year compared to a kid that's painting 20, 30 a year. I don't have a right to turn around to him and say, oh, I'm better because I've done one, and because I wrote fucking 20 years or 30 years ago doesn't make me better. You know what I mean? So go out, enjoy it, go hard, and your time's your time, and don't try and, hopefully I haven't come across this way, but don't try and be one of these people that try and carry on about, I done this 50 years ago, so therefore I'm the greatest. And it's like, mate, who gives a fuck what you done 50 years ago? It's no different to what he done 20, 30, 10 or something. Just be humble in what you're doing. Like, be happy with what people say, appreciate for you, rather than trying to force it down people's throats, if that makes sense. Yeah, man. So I'll probably get hated. Well, people dislike that anyway. No,
man, mate, I think you can't have a more beautiful message than that, mate, for both sides, from the life side and the graph side, man. So no, I really appreciate you coming on the podcast, man. It's
So, yeah.
I've always had you in my size, mate. So
Cool.
it's been...
Hopefully next time when I get over, we can actually catch up.
Oh yeah,
Like,
man, I'm keen
it'd be
as.
cool.
So I might just might end this podcast now, but I'll just quickly
Sweet.
say shout out to MTN Colors Australia and shout out to BSP and BYP. So thanks, man. I really appreciate it, man.